Hello, I'm Mike Hayes. In this video, our focus will be on the drop 2 chord voicings. These are the main type of chord voicings that we use for playing the Barry Harris style of harmony on the guitar. We'll be using the B-flat major 6 diminished scale to demonstrate these chord voicings, and we'll be playing the chords on the top 4 strings, the middle 4 strings, and the bottom 4 strings. You'll hear these type of voicings in the music of Wes Montgomery, Joe Pass, and George Benson. Throughout the video, I'll be demonstrating ways of creating movement and interest using these chord voicings. All in all, it's a pretty action-packed show. So let's get started. At the top of the screen, you'll see a typical block voicing for a B-flat 6 chord. And as you can see, it would be quite difficult to play. We're going to use special colour-coded dots so that we can track the movement of the notes when we change this block voicing chord to a drop 2 voicing. The highest pitch note in this chord, the note G, is indicated with a blue dot. And this note would be what we call the soprano voice. The next highest note in the chord, the note F, is indicated with a pink dot, and we would call this note the alto voice. The second lowest note in this chord, the note D, is indicated with an orange dot, and this would be what we call the tenor voice. And the lowest note, the note B flat, is what we would call the bass note. If we think of these chords as numbered from the highest note as 1 and the lowest note being 4, it's easy to work out drop 2 voicings. All we're simply going to do is take the second highest note, that's the F note in this chord, and lower it by 1 octave. The bottom diagram on this page shows us a drop 2 voicing of the B-flat 6 chord. Apart from the F note, which is now sounding 1 octave lower, all the other notes are exactly the same pitch as the first diagram. However, they're now rearranged to accommodate that lowered F note. And as you can see, this chord is quite playable on the guitar, certainly more playable than the block voicing. Okay, at the top of the screen we have our new drop 2 voicing for B-flat 6. So this is the chord played on the top 4 strings of the guitar. At the bottom of the screen you'll see how this exact same voicing of B-flat 6, that's the drop 2 voicing, would look on the middle 4 strings of the guitar. Keep in mind it's exactly the same chord, only it'll have a different tone because it's on the middle 4 set of strings. And because this chord is played on thicker strings, it will have a more mellow tone. Okay, now we have the B-flat 6 drop 2 voicing at the top of the page, and here is how the B-flat 6 drop 2 voicing would look on the low 4 strings of the guitar. Now keep in mind it's exactly the same chord voicing as we started off with on the first 4 strings of the guitar. The notes in the B-flat major 6th diminished scale are B-flat, C, D, E-flat, F, F-sharp, G, A. And when we harmonise this B-flat major 6th diminished scale, we end up with just 2 chords, a B-flat 6 chord and an A diminished 7th chord. Let's have a look at how we convert a block voicing of an A diminished 7th chord to a drop 2 voicing. Okay, at the top of the screen we have our block voicing for an A diminished 7th chord. And as you can see, there's a lot of stretching going on there. The G flat is the soprano voice, the E flat is the alto voice, and this is the note that we're going to play an octave lower to create our drop 2 voicing. The C note, indicated with an orange dot, is our tenor, and the A note is our bass. At the bottom of the page, you'll see our notes rearranged to accommodate that E flat that's now sounding 1 octave lower, and this is how our drop 2 voicing of the A diminished 7th chord looks on the top 4 strings of the guitar. And now you'll see at the bottom of the page how this exact same drop 2 voicing looks on the middle 4 strings of the guitar. And now at the bottom of the page, you'll see how this same voicing, the drop 2 voicing of A diminished 7th, looks on the bottom 4 strings of the guitar. Right then, it's time to play our B flat major 6th diminished scale drop 2 voicings on the first 4 strings of the guitar. One of the easiest ways to create interest and movement with your chords is to simply play a different inversion of that chord. Now, even though it's exactly the same chord, when you play a different inversion, that chord now has a different weight and density. I'm going to play a B flat 6. Here's another inversion of the same chord, B flat 6. I'm now playing an A diminished 7th. Here's a different inversion of A diminished 7th. And you can play through the whole scale just like that. Next up, we're going to play the drop 2 voicings for the B flat major 6th diminished scale, this time on the middle 4 strings of the guitar. Here's our B flat major 6th diminished scale played on the bottom 4 strings. Another interesting way to practice your chords is to move between one string set and another. I'm going to start by playing a B flat 6 on the top 4 strings, and then I'm going to move over and play B flat 6 on the middle 4 strings. So here's B flat 6 on the top 4 strings. Now I'm playing B flat 6 on the middle 4 strings. And again, I would move through the whole scale like that. I'm playing A diminished 7th on the top 4 strings. Now A diminished 7th on the middle 4 strings. And so on. You can work all the way through your scale like that. And then once you've done that, if you like, you can practice connecting those 2 chords with notes from the B flat 6 diminished scale. By that I mean if I played the B flat 6 chord on the top 4 strings, now the lowest note in that chord's an F, so if I move down the scale from that F, in other words if I played an E flat, then a D, then a C, and then finish on a B flat note, and then play the low B flat 6 chord, that's the one on the middle 4 strings. So here's that movement. I've got B flat 6, then there's the chord. And if I did that with the A diminished 7th, I'd have the A diminished 7th. The lowest note in that diminished 7th chord is an F sharp or a G flat. Now I'm going to move down the scale from there. Play F, E flat, D, C, and now I play the A diminished seventh chord. Here's how that would sound. Now to the B flat 6 on the top 4 strings. Moving down from that G note, which is the lowest note in the B flat 6 chord, moving down the scale, G flat, F, E flat, D, and that would be the lowest note in the next B flat 6 chord on the middle 4 strings. Here's how that would sound. B flat 6, G flat, F, E flat, D, and here is my B flat 6 chord. Okay, well, next up we have a real workout for you. We're going to play our B flat major 6 diminished scale, firstly on the bottom 4 strings, and then we're going to move this same scale over to the middle 4 strings, and then finish with the same scale played on the top 4 strings of the guitar. Well, that's it for today, folks. I do hope you enjoyed the lesson, and I hope there's something in this lesson that'll help you develop your own musical style on guitar. If you enjoyed this session and felt you got some value out of it and you'd like to support this channel, there's a link in the description below this video. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on all the good stuff, and if you like this video, don't forget to give us a like. It really helps us out. Until next time, all the very best with your guitar playing. Bye for now.